Good morning. It's been a while since I've been on camera. Um, yeah, I wanted to show y'all the main reason why I guess I haven't been drinking tea and what I've been busy with. Also, I'll explain some changes for people that do know. Some changes to my dietary practices. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I undertook a change in behaviors about 3 years ago, and I got into bodybuilding. I was about 300 pounds, and I had to make a change. And in the process of losing weight, I ended up falling in love with the gym, and then falling in love with the whole idea of bodybuilding. So, I lost all the weight, and then last year I really got into contest prep. I had my eyes on a show at the end of the year, and I did end up going to the show. I was the best I've ever looked. Got very lean, but I just want to talk about some of the dietary practices that got me there. My coach had me eating meat and rice the entire year, and closer to the end of it, it started feeling like my teeth were starting to fall out of my head. And like a scurvy thing, I think lack of vitamin C, whatever, vitamin deficiencies. So now I actually put a little bit of vegetables and fruits and these kinds of things in my food. So today I'm going to take you through what a day of eating looks like, why I don't drink tea anymore. Really, I don't have time. I live in the kitchen. I cook, I eat, I go to work, I go to the gym. I stay at home with my family. I don't party. I don't really go out to do money things. I don't like to go out to barbecues when we feel pressured to eat things I might not want to eat. But anyways, I'm gonna take you through my breakfast. So right here we got some chopped mushroom. It's 100 grams of mushroom. Got 100 grams of orange peppers here, and 3 cloves of garlic. It actually works out to about 12 grams of garlic. I've already pre-weighed everything, but I know how much it is. Like about the chunk of pepper that I use, it's always about 60 grams of pepper. Big handful of mushrooms, always about 100 grams of mushroom. So I don't weigh the vegetables for this meal anymore. I've gotten to the point where I don't have to, right? I got 2 Thai chilies. They're already chopped up there with the garlic. And I have about a half an onion here. It's gonna have to go in. So one thing I don't eyeball is the butter. Yes, I use butter in my cooking. Usually I use grass-fed butter, but they didn't have any at the store this time, so I did just use regular salted butter. In my opinion, butter is a healthy fat, but grass-fed butter is healthier, obviously. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put the butter on the scale. I'm going to take a chunk off. And what I want is exactly 12 grams, exactly. Perfect. That's 12 grams of butter right there. And that goes into the frying pan. There we go. And we're cooking. So, I know this seems odd for breakfast. We got garlic, we got Thai chilies, we got onion, we got peppers, we got mushrooms. And I'm going to get into the reason why we have all these different vegetables. This is and the spinach. So the spinach, I've done this so many times where I take a big handful of spinach and I put it in a bowl on the scale. Every single time comes out to about 100 grams. And you'll see it kind of fills the pan. That's what 100 grams of spinach looks like. So when you've done this 1,000 freaking times, hasn't been 1,000, but how many times I've made my breakfast this year, it's been a lot. So this is all for my eggs. So I got these eggs boiled here. Every morning I boil my eggs. Got 4 eggs, and those are going to be peeled and chopped up into my my sauteed vegetable mix there. Give this a little stir, and then I'll show you the other half of my breakfast here in a minute. Yeah, I use my hand in there. Keep the spinach in. So, yeah, so before my breakfast was literally 4 eggs and oats. So the only difference between then and now is I decided I better add a little bit of micronutrients. And I know it's shocking, but micronutrients are actually very important. Last year, only eating meat and rice, I got really lean, I got really in shape, but my mental health took a plummet. When you're not eating the required nutrients that you need for functioning, you start having a lot of negative outcomes. And for me, I had poor mental health outcomes, I had poor physical health outcomes. My blood work wasn't very good. One thing with bodybuilding is we expose ourselves to lots of stress, lots of environmental stress just by the amount of food we have to eat, the amount of training we have to eat, the supplements we take. It's a lot of stress on the body. And our first line of action to mitigate some of that stress is to have an antioxidant plan. And it starts with food. Okay, right there we have about 90 grams of oatmeal. That goes with meal 1 here. And in that 90 grams of oatmeal, sorry, 95 grams of oatmeal. Excuse me while I dig in my fridge. Yeah, so on top of that 95 grams of oatmeal, we have a dark berry mix. We should have a couple servings of dark berries in our day, you know what I mean? Some cherries, some blackberries, some blueberries. High in antioxidants, just like with the spinach and the peppers and the onions and the garlic is, you know what I mean? Very important that we get these things in our diet. And no, it shouldn't just be in one meal, because I know a lot of people, especially bodybuilders, they're going to have vegetables for dinner. That's it. Maybe some for lunch on a sandwich. But, okay, that's not enough. I got another bag here. For berries, I use 150 grams of berries. Perfect. A little bit over. Gotta be exact, right? And this is pretty well done. And this is amazing, by the way. You saute vegetables and you salt them up real good. You chop up the eggs in them. Makes the boiled eggs a hell of a lot better. And add some flavor to the food. Also in the oatmeal, I'm going to tear that. I do 1 large banana, so about that's done. So a large banana is anywhere from 120, 130 grams. This one's probably about 120, I'm going to guess. 135. That was a big banana. So yeah, that's half my breakfast right there. There's my carbs. And over here I got my protein and my micronutrients. I guess some of the micronutrients are in the oats. But there, that's meal one, right? Meal one done. Now I'd usually peel my eggs and there, made a mess. It's okay, I'll clean it all up after. Usually I would sit down and peel my eggs, see if I cooled these properly. You know, if you don't peel them properly, they don't peel very good. And then sometimes I have issues peeling my eggs. But either way, I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to set these aside. And then I'm going to show you meal number 2. So meal number 2, I got to get a bowl. There, this'll work. If you make all your meals in the morning when you get up, then, or before you go to bed the night before, would be even better. Then when it's time to eat, you can eat. It's very important that when it's time to eat, you have food prepared. You know, at the very least, I have meat prepared. I got chicken. I got ground beef. I'll pull some of that ground beef for the next meal. But you know, we always want to have food prepped in bulk. And I was even going as far as cutting the vegetables up and making like a mix, but it would go soggy in the fridge after being cut. So 179. I'm gonna pull a little chunk off that. Alright, perfect. 175. So 175 grams is about a 6 ounce. Yeah, it's exactly 6 ounces. So I'm going to cut that up. And I cook this on the barbecue. It's easier. I can cut 2 big packets of chicken up that way. But alright. I'm going to tear that because we're going to throw some vegetables in. Now we'll do a whole pepper, half a cucumber, and we're also going to want to do half an avocado. Every single meal, you got to be thinking about, where is my protein coming from? Where is my carbohydrates coming from? Where is my fat coming from? And where are my micronutrients coming from? Every meal should have those things. Last year, my low carb meals, it was literally just a bowl of ground beef. You can't just eat ground beef. Sure you can, but what kind of negative health consequences is going to come out of that? So there's half an avocado in there. These ones are getting pretty ripe. There. That was not very much avocado. A 60-gram avocado. Anyways. Cut this pepper up. Now my new coach, the guy who got me onto vegetables, so what he told me is that if eating is not a pain in the ass, i.e. you're doing it fucking wrong, it's not a pain in the ass, then yeah, you're doing something wrong. We need all the micronutrients. We don't want to be missing out on any. Almost every disease state is connected to a nutritional deficiency in some respect. So it would be foolish to allow ourselves to go deficient in anything. And especially if we are trying to build muscle. Why the hell would you miss out on any of this kind of stuff, right? We want all of those vitamins in place. Now we also have a bit of sriracha here, and a little bit of mustard. There's a tablespoon of mustard, and I think we're going to do tablespoon and a half of sriracha. See? Got a nice mix of vegetables here. Got some chicken and vegetables. And oh, one sec. And we got wraps. People say, oh, bread's bad, you shouldn't have flour, all this other stuff. I say they're full of shit. Part of having a balanced diet is having a little bit of everything, you know what I mean? We had a little bit of oats, why don't we have a little bit of flour? Our next meal, we're going to have a bit of rice, and then after that, we're going to have a bit of pasta. Sometimes I do potato. But my point here is, and this is the point that my coach made to me, is that we shouldn't be leaning onto one food too much. You know, so for protein, we shouldn't just be eating egg whites because it's the lowest calorie. That's ridiculous, you know what I mean? There is a lot of there's a lot of micronutrients in beef that we need, just like there's micronutrients in chicken that we need. Different amino acid profiles, they digest differently, and if you focus on one food type, like say that you just eat chicken all the time, what I found, and this is based in evidence, is that you almost become allergic to it. It's like your body can no longer process it. There, so I got 2 wraps out of that. Oh, where's my? I almost forgot. Yeah, I know, a little pinch of spinach like that's about 25 grams of spinach. This is perfect. Now this meal I do like to have some kind of fruit, so I'm going to have the rest of these strawberries. easy to wrap. You didn't fill it full enough. It should be very difficult to close these things. Yeah. What's up? There we go. Meal 2. Oh, meal 2's done. Drop some chicken out of there on the floor. The dog will get it. Oh, 174 grams of chicken. There. So this is what we can do too. So the box of strawberries is on the scale. It was like whatever, it said 4 or something grams, whatever. I don't know what it said. But I tear it, you open up the strawberries, you dump them on your plate, you put the container back, and it's going to tell you how much weight you just pulled out of there. So 210 grams of strawberries. Perfect. There we go. Meal 2, all done. Set that over here, we'll get on to meal 3. We might as well just do them all together. Yes, that's a good idea. So usually I go meal through meal throughout the day. I make one meal, I eat, and I make another meal, and then I eat. And then, of course, if I'm going to work, then I have to prepare what I'm going to bring with me. But it's always these meals. My meals haven't changed in months. So, and that's actually really important when you're bodybuilding. You're trying to change body composition, and you're trying to build muscle. You're trying to lose body fat. You gotta have everything the same. That's the only way that you can guarantee that you're on point. You know what I mean? So if you're eating, 4 meals and they're made exactly the same every single time, and you are maintaining your weight, you're staying at the same weight, then all you need to do is either increase your activity level just a little bit or decrease your food just a little bit. And I would say that when we do make changes to our plan, they should be minuscule, small. Just like dialing in like the radio. You know what I mean? You're just trying to get that signal just right, and that's what adjusting our plan for bodybuilding outcomes should be. It should be slight adjustments. You know what I mean? So if you're doing 100 grams of rice, then maybe when you increase your food a little bit, you should do 125 grams of rice, and maybe 150 grams of rice, or so on and so forth. So my model is I go up 100 calories per week, and that's what I've been doing over the past few weeks. And I've got to a point where it's like, okay, I need to hold here a little bit because I was starting to get a little bit too fat, and that's fine when you work up to like 4,000 calories. I'm averaging around 4,500 calories because I do have high days where I eat a little bit extra. So about 3,700 calories of everything here, and then when I add a little bit extra on top of that on certain days, I go up to 45, 55. And that's like maybe 3 or 4 days out of the week that I eat a bit extra. And that's just because I get hungry. Those aren't calculated cheat meals. They're literally just, I get extra hungry after eating all my meals, and then I eat an extra few thousand calories later night. And, it's okay. You get a little bit extra body fat, but when you're eating so much, and you put on so much extra quality body mass, your metabolism is a lot higher. So I can handle 4,000 calories a day and gain very slowly. And when I bump up to 6,000, I put on a little extra more than I want. But like what I just did the other day is, okay, I need to fast. I wake up and I don't have any plans to have any of these meals. And I fast until 2, and then I have a very small amount of food. I think it was just the 4 eggs. Later on I had a salad, no dressing, and then later on I had a protein shake. And then before bed I had a steak. That's it. No carbs, a lot of extra fat. I think it worked out to maybe 20, 30 carbs I had that day. But I'm usually eating like 700, right? So, not 700, that was an exaggeration. It's more like 500 that I eat on a daily. That being said, okay. Meal number 3 is cream of rice. I love cream of rice. It's my favorite meal. And I do 95 grams of cream of rice. That was too much. There. 95 grams of cream of rice. And yeah, that goes gonna go. Put that in the microwave. Now when I make my cream of rice, I'm using the, you don't see me over here, I got a water cooler. And in the water cooler has a hot function. So I actually fill that rice with hot water before I put it in the microwave. And that way it, it's already hot, right? You don't have to heat up cold water, and I find it just cooks better. So you want to mix that in there. There. Okay, meal number 3 is starting to cook, and then I'll get the rest of it going here in a minute. Okay, meal number 4. Running out of bowls here, I'm going to use a casserole dish. This is actually one of my dishes for packing my meals. They work great. Yeah, meal number 4, final meal of the day, is have some pasta. So first thing we need is going to be a bit of got some ground beef here. If you're noticing the theme here, this is 175 grams of ground beef that we're putting in there. Oh, a little bit extra. Very good. And then we got some macaroni pasta, pre-cooked, ready to go. And I do 200 grams of cooked pasta. And if you notice, I use my hands for everything. The amount of mess that I make in the kitchen, I don't want to be making more of a mess. There. There's 200 grams of pasta. And then I make a special pasta sauce. So in there I put a big package of mushroom. I put, you know, a bunch of carrots in there, chopped up carrots. I put in a bunch of chopped up beets. Beets are really delicious in pasta sauce. And there's also peppers, there's onions, there's garlic, all that good stuff in there. There's no meat in here, and I used Prego pasta sauce to cook it up. So the way this works is I actually, when I use my app, my tracking app, Chronometer, I actually make this as a recipe. So I weigh every vegetable that goes in there, and then at the end it'll actually tell me how much micronutrients is in 300 grams, which is what I put in here. So I'm going to put in 300 grams. There. Alright, there's 300 grams of pasta sauce. So That's where I get my micronutrients, is in the pasta sauce. It's just for vitamins. And yeah, that's meal number 4. So now I made all my meals today. I have no excuses not to get them in. Just kidding, I never make excuses not to get them in. I make excuses to not do things that would prevent me from eating my meals. And it's literally, no, I have to stay home and eat my food. It's very difficult to get me to go to a barbecue or get me to go to any kind of event if I know I'm going to be away from home for longer than 3-4 hours, because I need to eat. And if I am going to be away from home for longer than 3 or 4 hours, then I need to pack a meal, right? I don't always want to, sit down and pack so many meals, but really, like, this is a 30-minute video, so it's done in 30 minutes. Well, we're almost done. We haven't gone through what meal number 3 actually looks like. Look at that. Cream of rice. It's kind of like it's almost like a pudding. It's like an oatmeal or a porridge. It's really delicious. So in the cream of rice, very similar to our breakfast, we got cherries and berries, more antioxidants, dark berries. That's what we gotta have. And that's 150 grams of dark berries. And where is it? About 20 grams of, I'm going to do a bit of brown sugar. That's another thing, is I did stop using artificial sweeteners. I found that overuse of them really fucked up my gut. Leading into my show, I stopped digesting things. I wasn't pooping for a few days there. It was bad, especially leading on to the show, and you haven't had a bowel movement in 3-4 days. You're all bloated. And you just got to get that out so you can have chiseled abs on stage. It was very worrisome. So we got 150 grams of berries. We got 20 grams of brown sugar. And for people who are scared about sugar, you shouldn't lean on sugar as a primary source of carbohydrate, but you have to realize that's what it is. It's a carbohydrate. And just like we should have a variety of protein sources, a variety of fruits and vegetables, you know what I mean? We should have a variety of carbohydrates. And one of those carbohydrates we should have in smaller amounts, of course, is going to be sugar. We should introduce a bit of sugar into our intake. It's not going to kill you to have a little bit of sugar. In my opinion, there's not much difference between a little bit of sugar and a little bit of rice, or a little bit of, you know what I mean? But like, sugar is very fast digesting carbohydrate, so it spikes insulin fast. It makes more sense if we're going to use a sugar, maybe closer to like closer to a workout. I just spilled to the side of it. Yeah, so there's no reason why a little bit of sugar can't be part of your carbohydrate intake. And this is Greek yogurt. So Greek yogurt is amazing. This is plain Greek yogurt, 0% fat. This is my protein source for this meal. So there's 19 grams of protein per 3/4 of a cup, which is 175 grams. I'm using about 250 grams. Which, there. And that right there is meal number 3. And this is my pre-workout meal. I like the yogurt because it digests quickly. It's easy digesting. It doesn't make me feel bloated before training. Because the food that I'm eating a high volume of food right now. And it can be difficult to eat a large meal and then go train in the gym and you feel like you gotta throw up. So I eat this 1 hour before I train. By the time I get there, it's digested enough where I feel good, and it gives me energy during my training session. And on top of this meal, pre-workout, one more thing. I also use a scoop of this stuff is called Karbolyn. You know, I'm not actually big on shakes anymore. That was something that my new coach has instructed me not to lean so much on shakes unless you really have to. Like when you get into the very high amounts of calories, it makes sense to have some liquid calories. But, you know, I do like to have a little bit of carbs during training. My training sessions can get very long sometimes, and sometimes I just don't have the energy. My blood glucose gets low in the gym, and then I get shaky, and then I just got to go home. I can't train. So, and that sometimes it happens even with a big carb meal, and all these carb meals throughout the day. I get shaky in the gym, and I check my blood sugar, and it's down, right? So that's why it's important for me to have Karbolyn during my training, so that, you know, when I come into the gym after my pre-workout meal, you know, my blood sugars are up because I've just eaten. Once I start training, that burns down so quickly, and I need something to feel that. I know there's guys saying that they're bullshit. They don't replenish glycogen stores. Well, that's not what I'm trying to do by drinking it. I'm trying to restore glycogen while I train. I'm trying to increase the free blood glucose that I have available so that I can use that to train. It's an instant source of energy, right? It's in your blood. It's ready to be used. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's my full day of eating. Breakfast, we got breakfast, we got sauteed vegetables. It's 100 grams of spinach, 60 grams of pepper, 12 grams of garlic, 40 grams of onion, and 2 grams of Thai chilies, the green Thai chilies. And we got 95 grams of oats, 155 grams of dark berries, and 130 grams of banana. And, meal 2, we got 220 grams of strawberries, 2 wraps, 25 grams of spinach, 100 grams of peppers, and 100 grams of cucumber. Got some sriracha on there too. We got meal 3, cream of rice, berries, yogurt, a little bit of brown sugar. Oh, almost forgot. Where'd that go? I put peanut butter in there too. My cream of rice gets my cream of rice gets 15 grams of peanut butter. I literally pull it out if I put too much in. And I use my finger. There. I don't want to have too much peanut butter. I'm trying to wash my hands. Yeah, well, there you have it. Yeah, 4 meals. I started with 4 meals at 2,700 calories, and the meals were very similar to this, but they have increased in carbohydrates. So I try to stick to around 100 grams of fat, and 100 grams of fat, 200 grams of protein, and then the carbohydrates just kind of increase or decrease from there. And that's how we should probably all follow our diet. You know what I mean? We got a gram of protein per pound of body weight. You got 50 to 100 grams of fat. You got your caloric balance in carbohydrates. You got a variety of fruits and vegetables that you put together in an evidence-based way that you're getting all of your recommended daily intake of all your fruit, of all your micronutrients, right? And if you paid attention, you know what I mean? We got some leafy greens, we got some peppers, we got something from the onion family, like an onion or a leek. You know what I mean? We got onion, we got garlic, we have a mushroom, we have some beets and some carrots, and we also have some dark berries. We got some oats, we got some eggs, we got some beef, we got some chicken, we got some dairy, and as a result, if you look at my chronometer after I've logged it all in, I get 100%. Actually, I far surpass my recommended daily intake of a lot of vitamins. There's only 2 that I don't get everything from my food, and I have a little bit of a nutrient gap there, and that's going to be vitamin D, of course, and vitamin E. And of course, those are actually fairly difficult to get from our food. And then that's where supplements come in, right? But supplements shouldn't be focused on first when it comes to vitamins. I mean, this is where they come from. And then after that, let's fill in the gaps, right? If I was to eat a little bit more fish, I'd probably get a little bit more omega-3, a little bit more vitamin D in my diet. It's probably not going to happen. I ate nothing but fish for a while last year, and I don't know if I could ever touch it again. So that's just me, right? I'm going to have to supplement with omega-3s. But, yeah, and it's pretty straightforward. If you follow a diet like this, in my opinion, what can really go wrong? You're getting a balanced intake of everything you need to survive. And for me, that's is a little bit extra than what I need to survive. And but that's going to be required to putting on muscle tissue. If you're the kind of guy that goes to the gym and you're eating 2,500 calories, it's like, are you trying to get big? Because 2,500 calories will not do it. I don't care if you take steroids or growth hormone, insulin, everything in the world for drugs. It doesn't matter. The food is what matters. You cannot be eating like an average Joe and expect to have muscle like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It just doesn't happen, right? So if you're going to want to build an excessive amount of muscle, you're going to have to eat an excessive amount of food. You have to pay the anabolic toll. There is no way around that. And that doesn't mean, okay, I'm eating 2,500 calories now, so I'm just going to bump it up to 3,700. No, you're just going to get fat. And that's what I mean. Small incremental changes. People talk about these TDE calculators and stuff like that. None of that matters. You don't have to figure out, your height and weight and blah, 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 blah. Start at what's the recommended daily intake for a male? 2,500 calories. Why not start there? There's no reason why you should be eating less than that. And if you do maintain on less than that, then I would say you just start at 2,500 calories and you train hard, and your body composition will improve. Your metabolism will improve as you build muscle, right? So it's like you have to realize that what's happening right now is not indicative of the final product. You know what I mean? I'm maintaining it around 3,500 calories now. I was maintaining it around 2,500 not too long ago. And that's because I put on a little extra size. I put on a little extra muscle tissue. And my metabolism is now higher. And as you eat more food, your metabolism increases. You turn your body into an engine. It's like a steam engine, you know what I mean? You got to keep feeding it, and the more you feed it, the hotter it gets. And feed it a little too fast, and you're going to put out that fire. It's going to, that fire is going to go cold. You're going to get fat. So key takeaway from this is, don't just eat fucking chicken and rice. That's stupid. It's not a sustainable practice. You're not going to be able to do that for forever. Get your micronutrients in. Everybody knows how to count their macros, protein, carbs, fats. That's simple. We need to focus on the micronutrients. In my opinion, that's the most important part. So thank you for watching. If you watched this long, it's a 45-minute video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Yeah, and maybe I'll see you next time.